Tonight, the Conservative Party charts a course into the future, rallying around its current leader. How Pierre Poilievre was able to clear a major hurdle despite his election loss last year.
I feel awesome about it today.
Now we just have to get the rest of Canada to see what we all see.
And what a strong leadership endorsement means for the party going forward.
The hard work starts today.
Cleaning up Canada's microplastics.
The plastic bag sort of count that we would find in a cleanup dropped by 99%.
How environmental groups plan to push the plastic ban to the next level. Plus, the Legends of Hockey Tour makes a memorable stop in a small town.
They have a lot of experience and they'll give it over to us so we can get better.
How this program is promoting positivity and respect while inspiring the next generation of stars.
CTV National News with Heather Butts.
Good evening. Pierre Poilievre has cemented his position as leader of the Conservative Party with a strong endorsement during a convention in Calgary. Securing more than 87% support in his leadership review, it means he'll be the one to take the party into the next election. CTV's Jeremy Sharon has reaction and what this means for the Conservatives moving forward.
A hero's welcome for leader Pierre Poilievre in Calgary, who delivered a high-stakes speech.
My message to those people who have felt unseen for too long, who are carrying the country on their back and feel underappreciated and overworked, Conservatives see you and Conservatives will fight for you.
Ahead of a pivotal leadership review vote late Friday night, where he achieved a resounding result, 87.4%, voting to keep him on as leader.
I feel awesome about it today. It's good to see that, everybody is behind Pierre.
It was not only a vote for Pierre, but it was a real vote for the party and party unity.
The base is solidly behind him. Now we just have to get the rest of Canada to see what we all see.
On the convention floor today, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith offering her support.
Congratulations, of course, to our leader, Pierre Poilievre, who won 87% of the vote.
A party today firmly behind its leader with a fresh new mandate.
The hard work starts today, and that's about introducing someone in Mr. Poilievre who is collaborative, who listens, but who's going to fight for that Canadian dream.
Part of that work begins now to grow the party's support with the wider electorate following the election loss.
There was a lot of a big grieving process going on after that election result, I'll be honest with you. But I think we've turned the page on that now. We're looking forward to the future. We've got a leader who's focused.
National Council voting down the hallway until 10 a.m., folks.
As grassroots members here debate policy priorities this weekend, Poilievre leaned on lessons he says he learned during the convention in a promise to keep the party on its current path.
You told us to ignore the voices who keep telling us to abandon our conservative principles. We will remain true to our principles.
This weekend's result solidifying the fact that Pierre Poilievre will lead the party into the next federal election, where he'll get another opportunity to try and form a conservative government for the first time in over a decade. Heather?
Thanks, Jeremy. CTV's Jeremy Sharon in Calgary. Ontario's PC party hosting its convention this weekend and reversing course on an attendance policy. The party was set to bar journalists from the weekend event, but last night a spokesperson said the press would be allowed to attend Premier Doug Ford's speech. No reason was given on why the ban was instituted or overturned. The federal Liberal Party has announced their candidate for an upcoming by-election in the Toronto riding vacated by Chrystia Freeland. Family doctor and healthcare advocate Danielle Martin will run to defend the University Rosedale seat for the Liberals. Freeland stepped down as an MP earlier this month after accepting an advisory role with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Prime Minister Mark Carney has not yet called a by-election in the riding. The Prime Minister offered his deepest condolences today to the family of a Canadian soldier who died while on deployment in Latvia. In a social media post, Mark Carney said, in part, our country is stronger for his service. The Canadian Armed Forces says gunner Sebastian Helmgen died on Thursday during his first overseas deployment. In a statement to CTV News, Helmgen's father said his son was immensely proud to serve in the Canadian Armed Forces. An investigation into the circumstances of his death is underway. It has been 1 year since Liam Toman vanished during a ski trip to one of Canada's most popular resorts. His mother, desperate to keep the search going, hoping for answers. Here's Sweeta Rassi on the renewed public appeal for anyone with information to come forward.
Kathleen Toman has made the trip up to Mont-Tremblant more than a dozen times in the past year. It's all for one reason: her son, Liam.
Maybe there's a clue, a little thread of information, a spark. And if they could share that with the police, they can help put this puzzle together because it is such a mystery.
She's desperately hoping someone remembers something. The 22-year-old vanished during a ski trip with friends. At 3 a.m. on February 2nd, he was last seen leaving a bar and heading toward his hotel. His wallet was found a month later, but that led nowhere.
But I haven't seen her yet.
For the Ontario mother, the uncertainty is indescribable.
It's surreal. It's been very difficult on the family, very difficult on me. I can't put this in words.
1 year after his disappearance, the SQ have set up a command post right next to the hotel where Liam was staying. Police say they're hoping to jog people's memories, any clue that could lead them to an answer and finally solve the mystery.
At this time, nothing indicates that it's criminal, but it's not ruled out. Everything's on the table.
The family is offering a $50,000 cash reward for any information that will help them find Liam. For Kathleen, every lead matters, no matter how small. And as she speaks with passers-by, she says she won't stop searching for her eldest child.
We know we're going to find Liam, and we know we're going to find the answers.
Holding on to hope, as right now, there's nothing else left to do but wait. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
Environmental groups won big this week when a federal court upheld a decision that would allow Ottawa to continue its ban on plastics. But now the focus turns to the future. Kamal Karamali takes a look at the next step for advocates.
Pounds and pounds of plastic picked out of the Don River here in Toronto.
We're seeing thousands and thousands of coffee cup lids.
Even then, Lawrence Warner is looking at all this garbage as a glass half full situation because there used to be a lot more before Canada's plastic ban came into play.
The plastic bag count that we would find in a cleanup dropped by 99%.
Environmental groups now applauding a decision by the Federal Court of Appeal this week that would allow Ottawa to continue its ban on single-use plastics.
I think we're on the right track.
Nearly 5 years ago, Ottawa classified all plastic-made items as toxic, bringing forward a phased ban on the manufacture and sale of 6 single-use plastic items. But that was challenged by a group called the Responsible Plastic Use Coalition. In late 2023, a federal court judge sided with them, striking down the toxic designation for plastics. But Ottawa appealed the decision, and the following year the case was reviewed. Now this week, a 3-judge panel reversing the decision, classifying plastics as toxic. The Conservative Party's environment critic calling the plastics ban unscientific, saying it makes life more expensive for everyone.
I see right here.
But environmental groups are hoping to push the plastic ban even further to include other items.
Takeout cups and lids are a real menace, and there's an obvious solution to those, which is reusable systems.
And harsher penalties for those who keep selling them.
We're still seeing, unfortunately, too many pieces of plastic cutlery around. They should be fined, and the government is in its full rights to do that.
And even while we were walking here in this Toronto park, finding plenty of plastic buried under the snow. Expanding the ban, something the federal government is eyeing.
Really smart things that are being put into place. So lots of other things for us to look at.
These volunteers hoping Ottawa doesn't waste any time taking the weight of picking up plastic off their shoulders. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. consulate in Winnipeg to protest U.S. President Donald Trump's threat of taking over Greenland.
We're here to stand against, Trump's bullying his threats and to stand with the people of Greenland.
Protesters braved the cold temperatures, standing in solidarity with Greenland. Similar protests, dubbed Hands Off Greenland, have been organized across the world in response to President Trump's threats against the autonomous Danish territory. We may be in the depths of winter, but work for farmers in this country never really stops. And right now they're facing the harsh realities of high tariffs and low crop prices. And the market uncertainty could be impacting grain deliveries. CTV's Allison Bamford spoke with one farmer to find out what this means for the industry.
Winter can feel long and drawn out for farmers waiting to get back into the field. Rob Stone spends the cold months maintaining equipment, planning ahead, and selling grain to pay the bills.
Most of the wheat is gone.
Crop prices, cash flow, and storage usually dictate when Stone sells his grain. He moved on his wheat a little earlier this year, which made for a slower December. Recent numbers from Statistics Canada show producers across the country delivered less grain to elevators, mills, and crushing plants last month. Wheat, oats, and rye saw the biggest dip.
Prices aren't what you would want. In fact, they're probably at or below a break-even price, so that's got to be holding some people back from deliveries.
Domestically, oilseed processors experienced a busier December, crushing more than 1 million tons of canola, up 6.1% year over year. An increase possibly fueled by stagnant canola exports to China due to punishing tariffs as farmers tried to offset their export losses.
Farmers didn't have another viable alternative to sell into the grain handling system.
But that's about to change. China has reportedly ordered shipments of Canadian canola in advance of the tariffs set to be lowered in March, a move that experts say could bode well for other commodity prices.
It makes good economic sense for farmers to sort of hold off and see if there's going to be a price rally that may carry over.
Back on the farm, Stone says market uncertainty is always a concern, but he has hope.
At the farm gate level, right now, it feels like things are working well in spite of our challenges.
A good feeling to have heading into the next season. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A major economic driver is underway in the nation's capital with hundreds of people in attendance for a popular event. Winterlude, now in its 49th year, is a huge draw for Ottawa. CTV's Natalie Van Roy checks it out.
It's a jam-packed day for the Villeneuve family at Winterlude.
We've come to Winterlude and come over to this Winter Kingdom to try out all the different winter sports and festivities. Snowboarding, kick sledding, we tried lacrosse. What else did we do?
Throwing fake snowballs, snowboarding.
A quick stop for a warm beaver tail before it's off to the next activity at the Snowflake Kingdom, one of the premier spots for the winter tradition.
It's just a great opportunity to embrace winter. It's been such a true winter this year, so it's been nice to kind of embrace and enjoy some of the winter activities that go with it.
Every year, the celebration of the season draws thousands of tourists to Ottawa and Gatineau to enjoy free activities for all ages, including obstacle courses, snow igloos, tubing, and more.
We're hopeful and expecting a lot of people with everything that we're offering this year. We went from 400 blocks of ice to 1,000, so it means it's a lot. There's a lot more carvers, a lot more to experience.
Simone Monez and her family came from Cambridge in southwestern Ontario, more than a 5-hour drive away.
This is our first time at Winterlude, but usually we come in the summertime. So far, so good. We just got here, so we're going to go try out some activities.
A chance to reconnect with family. Others coming from Montreal to spend time with friends.
She wanted to experience the Winterlude here in Ottawa.
At Confederation Park, the Winterlude Crystal Garden showcases ice sculptures and animations. Activities also being hosted in the Barwood Market and near the Rideau Canal. Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
Coming up, a population problem.
Is basically close to zero growth in the latest quarters.
Where and why Canada's population growth is grinding to a halt. Plus, what's drawing anger in Italy ahead of the Olympic Games? At least 6 people have been killed by a pair of explosions in Iran, with officials there laying the blame on gas leaks. One explosion tore through an apartment building in a port city, killing a 4-year-old girl and injuring at least 14 others. Another blast in a city in southwestern Iran killed 5 people. It comes as the U.S. has stationed a naval battle group off of Iran's shores, raising fears a direct confrontation is on the horizon. Hundreds marched in Milan to protest against the deployment of ICE agents during the upcoming Winter Games in Italy. Earlier this week, the U.S. State Department said several federal agencies, including ICE, would participate in security for the American delegation at the Olympics. Anti-ICE demonstrations continued in Minneapolis today as thousands of cyclists hit the road. Today's protest comes as a federal judge denied a request to end the federal immigration crackdown in the city. In a separate ruling, a federal judge has ordered immigration authorities to release a 5-year-old boy and his father from a detention facility in Texas. The two were taken into custody last week in Minnesota, sparking nationwide outrage. Communities across Canada are experiencing a big change to their population growth. Increases so small, they're practically non-existent. CTV's Adrian Gobriel finds out what's behind the trend.
A sweeping chill has cooled Canada's once sizzling population growth.
It is basically close to zero growth in the latest quarters.
Year over year, as of July 1st, 2025, Canada's census metropolitan areas grew by just 1%. Smaller urban centres increased by 0.9%, while rural communities grew at 0.7%.
For the first time in quite a while, we're looking at large urban centers, medium urban centers, and rural areas kind of across the country growing at much more similar rates.
The leading cause, according to StatsCan, the rapid reduction in the number of non-permanent residents, including fewer international student permits.
They've been shutting down programs. It has consequences.
Ontario's Public Service Employees Union reports that roughly 10,000 jobs were eliminated or impacted at 24 public colleges in 2025 due to the sudden reduction in international students and compounded by years of public funding pressure.
We were ripe for a crisis, and that crisis came when the government changed the international student enrollment.
A region known for its colleges and universities, Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo saw its population increase by just 0.3% year over year as of July 1st. Nearby Guelph, Ontario, experienced the exact same stagnant growth.
We've been getting calls and calls and calls from industry leaders in that area saying, there's a massive labor shortage that's going to be coming.
Though fewer foreign students and non-permanent residents is expected to ease pressure on public services, as well as other sectors.
There is data now to suggest that rents have stabilized and actually started to decline a bit.
Statistics Canada analysts believe that as long as government policy keeps a tight lid on non-permanent residents and student permits like they have here at Conestoga College, we could see a continuation of a downward trend on population growth for at least another 3 years. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Waterloo, Ontario.
Still ahead, a beef breakthrough. Putting Canadian beef back on the menu in China, what it will mean for the industry and prices here. Canadian beef is heading back to China after a 4-year ban that shut down a key export market. It could help boost the long-term resiliency of a volatile business, but it comes at a time when national herd numbers remain low and prices of beef are high. Here's CTV's Kathy Lee with what's at stake.
On a golden prairie afternoon, the cattle on this southern Alberta ranch unbothered as their future is shaped far beyond this field. John Smith says some will be sold to large processors, their meat destined for markets near and far, including China.
It's always good news when a new market is made available to us.
The market available again after that country recently lifted a ban on Canadian beef from processing plants. It was put in place in late 2021 after a rare case of mad cow disease was found on an Alberta farm.
China does fulfill a demand for niche and underutilized cuts in Canada.
Before the ban, Canadian beef exports to China hit nearly $200 million a year. Experts say the market could climb back to that level. The Canadian Cattle Association says large processors could begin shipping beef to China in a few weeks, but moving significant amounts will take time, and that's because Canada is facing a cattle shortage and building the herd will take time.
That's going to limit the overall exports that we do sell, but we do continue to export large quantities of beef. We do know that we are able to start to build that market again. Rebuilding the market also depends on the weather. Drought has been a significant factor in shrinking herd sizes countrywide. How many cows here? But this rancher says if the rain comes and supply increases, demand from China could help steady high beef prices.
It's probably going to hold the price somewhere where it is. It might decrease slightly. But as we know, trade partners come and trade partners go.
And Smith says industry players are looking for long-term market stability.
Us as producers, feedlot operators, we can actually invest with confidence and, increase supply.
But given China's track record, whether it continues to be a reliable buyer for Canadian beef remains to be seen. Kathy Lee, CTV News, near Nanton, Alberta.
Still ahead, legends on ice. The impact some NHL greats are making on the next generation. Some NHL legends rolled into a small town in Prince Edward Island this week, part of a tour that brings former hockey players to places the league rarely reaches. Here's CTV's Maria Saru.
A drawing slides across the table and a hockey legend autographs the page. For these kids, it's a memorable keepsake. Former NHL players filed into an elementary school in rural PEI, signing sticks, jerseys, and leaving their mark with a message against bullying.
At the end of the day, you're a team, so you got to act like one and play like one.
This tour is a two-way win. The children get a front row look at how far hard work can go, and for past players, a chance to give back.
For a lot of us, none of us have been here. For them, they've probably never encountered NHL players or former NHL players, so it's a good crossover.
Some had hard-hitting questions.
Why did you guys retire?
The game got way too quick, and I got way too slow.
Now the NHL legends are sharing their skills in a different way, hosting clinics for minor hockey leagues like this one in Tignish. And the young players soaked it all in.
You don't get to do this a lot, so it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. They have a lot of experience, and they'll give it over to us so we can get better. It's really cool to train with them. I'm really grateful that they got to come here.
Many of them small-town kids with big league dreams.
In the NHL. NHL.
And the older players say anything's possible.
Follow your dreams. Work hard, be prepared, treat people with respect.
That advice was put into practice with every drill, pass, and goal on the ice. Maria Saru, CTV News, Tignish, Prince Edward Island.
That is our newscast for this Saturday night. I'm Heather Butts. For all of us at CTV National News, thank you for watching. Good night, and I'll see you again tomorrow.